Hi, my name is Gemma, and my research looks at the relationship between self, reward, and emotion prioritization effects. Prioritization effects reflect a biased response towards specific associated information. For example, self-relevance, high reward, and emotion have all been shown to drive attention, facilitate behavior, and modulate memory recall. As well, both overlap and segregation has been found in neuroscientific data for these three effects. So what we want to do is we want to see if these effects occur independently or if we can predict them from one another. For example, can biases to self-relevant information predict the magnitude of biases to reward? Does self-association effects enhance the effects of mood induction? We question what are the critical aspects of these effects and their relationship. And by addressing these questions, we hope to enhance our understanding of personal perception and the factors that influence the effects of self-prioritization. So for our experimental approach, we utilise two variants of an associative matching paradigm. This is where participants had to learn associations between identities, monetary rewards, and emotions with geometric shapes. So in experiment 1, we had 2 associations, and in experiment 2, we had 3 associations. So our preliminary findings were there was a prioritization effect found for self-relevance, high reward, and positive emotion across both experiments. But in terms of the magnitude, they varied slightly and there were differences across the 2 and 3 associations. So in experiment 1, accuracy advantages were higher for positive emotion bias compared to reward bias, and response time advantages were higher for positive emotion bias and self-bias compared to reward bias. However, in experiment 2, there were no differences found between the advantages between the three effects, no differences found. So in terms of the relationship, however, in experiment 1, there was a positive relationship between self-bias and emotion bias, and there was a positive relationship found between emotion bias and reward bias. There was a negative relationship found between self and reward. But in experiment 2, we found a negative relationship between self and sad bias and a positive relationship found between self and happy. So what does all this mean? So findings indicate that prioritization effects can be observed across 2 and 3 item associations. However, there is less of a distinction between the magnitude of these biases when there is 3 associations. This could indicate that the distinction between these magnitudes of the biases for self-relevance, value-based reward, and positive emotion could be sensitive to the interaction between working memory and attention. In terms of the relationship between self-relevance and positive emotion is a stable and consistent one, but the relationship between self-relevance and reward could be sensitive to the magnitude of these biases. Thank you for listening.